Hey there, part-timers. Once again, it's Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you guys for stopping by the collection room. Today I'm taking a look at some more Freex comics. We're up to issue 9, 10, 11, and 12. As you may have caught in the last video, I did just acquire issue 11 for the first time. And we are in our section of the books that is all about the intro stories of the different characters. Now, I kind of feel like they weren't exactly necessary. You already got a pretty good origin breakdown in the first issues. So I don't feel like it was super necessary to go into a long retelling backstory of the team. However, I know why they did it. I feel like it's because they didn't really know what else to do with the team. The team concept is really cool. Bunch of runaways joined forces kind of by necessity, all gathered together by one guy, but they don't really have a lot to do afterwards. So once you accomplish that, you know, where do you go from there? What's the next step? And of course, we've already had some run-ins with the laws, but I think there's only so much of that you're going to really do. And as far as like locals who want them dead, I mean, that's what they continue with, but it just doesn't really float with me. I'm like, where's the direction going? So detailed origins over the next 5 issues is probably about their best bet. I think they don't even go much further than that. Once you get the initial breakdown done, then you go through the origin stories. You can see this how nasty Sweet Face is. Once you get done with the origin story, there's not a ton left of the series. It does wrap up. It's one of the shorter Malibu Ultraverse series, and I think that's a lot of reason. This, I believe, is the issue we get Cayman in, who I think becomes like a standard member of the team. Meanwhile, I think we kind of phase out Boom Boy. Another thing I can point out, you can tell the art is going crazy here. Contrary is involved. She's not the benefactor Professor Xavier character that gathers everyone together. She is a villain, basically, but she's in control of the superhero teams. She was once a nurse who spread the Ultraverse serum throughout a bunch of babies randomly. And that is where we get so many of our modern Ultras. That nurse's name was Contrary. So I don't know that you'd qualify her as a hero, but she's there. Excuse me. Yeah, art bouncing around. I think we start to develop some semblance of a direction after we're done with our intro stories. And of course, this has got the origin of Boom Boy here, which is not much of an origin at all. He just sat in a basement until he decided to get out of it. Origins 5 of 5. That's your entire team. This one features Plug. This is the one I never had for some reason. It wasn't one that I had. Could never find it. And like I said, right now they're in the clutches of Contrary. It looks like she is not a good person. It's wild that, they have Ultraverse, or the Ultraforce, Prime, Hardcase, Prototype, Mantra. They got them all, like their version of the Avengers is all led by Contrary, an absolute villain in disguise. Which it's a cool concept for like the writing part of it, but I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know. It's great for the story, but it's not something you could sustain for very long as far as like your writing block goes. Not that anybody had to worry about that, because sadly, Malibu Comics only lasted, well, they should say the Malibu Ultraverse only lasted a couple years. And this is where they lose Boom Boy out of the team. They replace him with Cayman. Letter page called The Freak Show. Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't know that you're going to get a title named Freex to really float that far in this modern era. This was something that could only exist in the time that it did, probably. Wowza, that's awesome looking. That guy's got a fist coming out of the side of his face. This is some of the better art I've seen in the series. I do not remember what they're doing right now, but if I remember right, vaguely, they don't stay on Earth and they go on some sort of magical trip, which is kind of what several of the Ultraverse teams did. It's what the Solution did. It's like, oh, we're on Earth, we're doing Earth stuff. Now we're going to just go on a long journey and get out of here for a while. I'm not a wild fan of this particular comic book trope. The Ninja Turtles did it too. They were on Earth, they were doing Earth stuff, and then like, yeah, for the next year we're going to be in space, and then they would come back. I was never a fan of that kind of planned writing. If your team is already in space, keep them in space. I feel like taking the Guardians of the Galaxy and just sticking them on one planet for like a year. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. Keep your plots moving, but not necessarily by jumping from places that these teams don't need to be. If your team is an Earth team, just have them stay on Earth, do Earth stuff. But pulling them out of their normal environment and sucking them into outer space or a parallel dimension or a demon world for a year, it's not the best idea, I don't think. Don't read it. Or don't just read it, watch it. The Firearm movie, it's a 30-minute movie based on the Firearm book. I've never watched it. I need to probably someday. But looking at these lists, I don't think I have every issue of Firearm. I don't think I have every issue of Prototype. I know I'm sketchy on Wrath and Warstrike. But Wrath and Warstrike were some of the like crappiest titles from Malibu Ultraverse. So, yeah, there isn't a lot of Freaks left, and I feel like it's kind of weird that the series took the turns and the decisions and the things that it did. It's not necessarily what I would have done or what I would have probably recommended, but it is what the series did. And it doesn't have the Gen X feel. It doesn't have the Gen 13 feel. This is not a teen book. It was a depressing book. These characters were miserable. And if anything, it felt more like those characters from like Nightmare on Elm Street. I know I've mentioned that once before, but that's the kind of like dark survival teen horror that these books feel like. So I know they can't all be bangers, but that was what the series was. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. It is thoroughly appreciated. You part-timers are great. I know a lot of you out there don't watch everything, which is why I call you the part-timers, but you know what? I appreciate what you do watch. It's thoroughly enjoyed. And I love making these. So anyway, that's Freex. That is 9 through 12. I want to say there's maybe only 1 or 2 videos left of the series. They just didn't run that long, but we'll get to it when we can. Anyway, that's my story. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to keep collecting fun, and I'll catch you guys later.